My name is Perrone. I'm an artist. I've been an artist since I went to school, the Albright Art School in 1960. Before that, I was a failed student, more or less. I had gone to UB. I was a pretty bad student when I was in high school. Didn't know how I got into UB. It must have been a mistake, I thought. But my thoughts were confirmed by my close treatment there, and I had been close to failing out, flunking out of school, and so consequently I went in the Army for 2 years, and I served right after the Korean War. Didn't do anything of any importance, clerk typist. And when I got out of the Army, I decided I would try art school because I had done art before in high school and things, and I thought maybe I'd give it a try. As soon as I get into art school, I knew I found a home, you know. It was the right thing for me. And it was an exciting time. It was a time of the abstract expressionists. It was a time of turmoil in the country. My teacher, Larry Calcagno, had been teaching down in Atlanta and had experienced some of the civil rights movement start up, Wallace refusing kids from going to school and stuff. So he was into that. He wasn't into teaching us techniques or much about art. You know, we could experiment freely. So when the Birchfield had room in this project space to do something, I don't know where this came from either. It was like an impulsive idea that I proposed for the project room, and somehow it was accepted, and I'm in the process now of refining and finishing that idea, making it a project that I hope will get people to consider the waste of these lives. In this room there'll be 10,000 bags, and they'll be filled with the names of Vietnam casualties. But that only represents 1/6 of the total number of guys killed in that conflict. This is a great space. It's easy to work here because the ceilings come down, speakers can be set up easily, projectors are wonderful, you know. So there weren't any obstacles about it. It just was really good place to work, and the only problem is doing the grunt work of sticking these bags up, hanging them up, and piling them up, and you know, a lot of it, Jeffrey does a lot of the work that has to be done with projection and audio. That still isn't quite resolved, but it will be. So in totality, I see in my mind this whole idea coming together, the darkness of the room, people on this wall of bags at the entrance, which people will have to part through so that voluntarily or involuntarily they will be touching these bags that contain the names of casualties. And it brings them immediately into contact with the truth about what is going on with war. I mean, war is about people getting killed. Even when you go back to the Civil War, I mean, there was a huge amount of casualties, and in one day there'd be as many casualties as we've had in Iraq. because people were just thrown like sticks into the flames, you know. So I want to get people to understand that each one of these bags they see, you know, that's a life. That's somebody's wasted life, a life that could have been lived. It's a waste not only that they weren't able to live their life, but they weren't able to live it in a productive way. They weren't able to do something for society. They weren't able to propagate, to have children, to add to our wealth. That you add that to the number, just the amount of wealth that is wasted in war and building the war machine and going to companies to build weapons of mass destruction. When I talk about this thing, it gets me very emotional, but working with it, I am fine, you know, and it doesn't bother me. I had to stuff the names of all these casualties from Vietnam into these bags. You think that would have been a horrific thing to do, but like I said, you approach it as you would if you were a medic and you had to, it was a job that you had to do. Well, the artist's job is to do the work and hope that the result will be satisfying, because the work isn't. The work is work. The satisfaction comes in resolving it, finally having people enter it, and we'll see what happens, you know, and I hope their reaction is good. I hope they're moved by it.